Hey guys, Novel Butcher here and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing alright. And today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Ahsoka episode 4 because I never did a review about it. This is not going to be a long video because it's been about a week or so since the video aired. I think 2 weeks actually, around 2 weeks. And I figure, I don't really have my raw thoughts as I did after watching it, so I'm not going to delve into it too deeply here, but let's get into the video. So episode 4 was an absolute banger. It was exciting, it was thrilling, and there was a lot of action, which was great. Definitely, people were saying at the start of the series, episode 1 and 2, things were moving a bit slower. This one had a lot going on. Now, when I'm doing reviews, I don't really like to just go through the plot piece by piece. I just want to talk about some interesting and very exciting parts for me, and some of the key things that really stood out to me. It was definitely interesting to see. Sabine and Ahsoka obviously have some tension to still between them. Bean obviously she wants to save Ezra. Ahsoka knows this, but she's questioning it anyway. She's trying to hint at her that please don't do what I think you're gonna do. She didn't say that, but that's how I got from what she was talking about. And Hey Young, I can't remember what the droid is called actually now. The lightsaber building one, the trainer one that helps with younglings. It was cool to see him in the fight. He came out the ship, he was repairing the ship. It was a nice scene where a droid stuck up at him and he had a little fight scene. Now he still lost, but it was cool to see that. I did like to see the aspect of the episode. That was definitely quite nice to see. And it was cool after that seeing them team up, Ahsoka and Sabine, some of their combos, some of them fighting with each other. It kind of seemed like it was very fluid. Scenes flowing from one to one. Ahsoka even saving Sabine at one time using the Force to control someone so she could get in a shot. So that was really good. And I don't know, to me, when I saw some of the transitions between when they were running through the forest, it just kind of felt like some of the panning that you would have seen in old Star Wars, which is really interesting. I don't know why that kind of like highlighted itself to me. It's not something I normally think about too much, but it just kind of I just kind of felt it, and the fact that I did feel that is definitely interesting to me, something to take note of. It made me really think of some of the new Star Wars. Of course, there's different directors and different writers and so on and blah blah blah. But the panning of the camera, how the camera moves, it doesn't always feel as clean as some of the old Star Wars did, and deliberate. So it was nice to see that again. Yeah, then we see Marok and Sin Taffy, I think that's what you call her last name. And this was a great fight between both people. One part that I didn't like, it's not like I didn't like, I just think it was a bit silly of Sabine. She was trying to get too close with her guns. I know it's a forest and it's hard to see her shooting past trees and stuff like that, but I think she did get a bit too close. She could have kept a distance and kept shooting and let Shin come to her. Then again, she was the aggressor, so she had to make moves. She was trying to get a killing shot. But obviously coming close to a Jedi, some of the Force powers, not Jedi, sorry, them using the Force powers and lightsabers are gonna happen. So you gotta be careful of your, the vicinity between you and the Jedi or the lightsaber user. But I think it was quite a clever fight. In the end, she did get something off. She actually shot her. Not shot her. She kind of, almost shot her, which was pretty cool. Got her with a fake out when she tried to use the Force and it failed. Obviously, she was desperate. And I like that she's not really using the Force much. I don't mind if Sabine in the end does learn some of the Force. Some people really don't want her to, and I think the reason people don't want her to learn the Force is mostly because we went through 4 seasons of Rebels and there was no hint at her having the Force. So her having the Force now would feel a bit like out of place. I think some people just don't want to have the Force because they're seeing too many women who in Disney Star Wars who randomly just get power-ups, and they don't want that. I think the former is a better reason why not to like it than latter. Just because there's been a lot of women who've had insane power buffs, or what they had done doesn't make sense in the canon, doesn't mean that you should crucify every state where a woman does get some power or just learn something. These instances aren't the same, they're different, there's nuances. In this one, there are more nuances, not too many. Definitely, since like I said, 4 seasons of Rebels is quite a lot. And if you didn't see anything there, I doubt you're gonna see anything here. Although people said they didn't like that. Some people said they didn't like that she's been trained as a Jedi. I think that's a bit stupid because, it's okay, not stupid. I won't say that. I think it's not very. It's not the best thing to say, really, because she was already being trained in lightsaber ways by Kanan in Rebels, so that's already established. You know, she was learning how to do a dark saber to fight for her homeland, and apparently Ahsoka's taught her. Not apparently, it happened, but we didn't see it. Ahsoka taught her what took her as an apprentice. Now it's quite evident from episode 3 that, you know, the training scenes definitely at the beginning, or which I didn't even talk about because I forgot what episode that was. No, that was episode 3 that with the training scenes. We're on episode 4. My bad. I'm getting mixed up now. See, this is what happens when I don't watch an episode in a while. It's quite evident that they've been doing some training. You know, she's picking up again. So she's, you know, her training how to use lightsaber. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. For example, General Grievous, he was not a Force user. He couldn't use the Force, but he learned how to use lightsabers. His form, he didn't really have great form. It was more of having multiple arms and aggression and calculation in his strikes, rather than him having an actual form similar to the Jedi or even a Sith, which is an interesting way. And, you know, but, you know, she's just been trained how to use forms and how to use techniques and how to learn how to fight in instances where a Jedi would have to fight. But so obviously she's crippled because she doesn't have the Force. But yeah, it's always interesting to see her fight, and she mostly stick to like pistols this time with a bit of lightsaber fighting, but she still ultimately couldn't beat Shin. This is a second duel. First duel, she ultimately got crushed. Second duel, she's more like she's losing, but it's not like she like lost. And maybe in the third duel she'll win, or maybe in third duel she'll just get the heads up. Who knows? The building up to it, it's just cool. You know, you don't defeat your enemy straight away. That's something that you need to learn. You need to build up the rivalry. I said this is gonna be a short video, and we're already 7 minutes in. So Ahsoka, going back to Ahsoka and Marok, that was great. You know, the old style of fighting, a bit of prequels, a bit of originals, and a bit of old samurai type Hollywood movies. Like, it's just great stuff. Like, it's just fantastic to see. I love it. Marok was made by Night Sister Magic, which is interesting. You know, I do like to see them bring that into canon. Well, it's already in canon. It's already in Clone Wars, or Clone Wars is canon. But it's good to see it in the live scene. Yeah, that's it. People who don't watch Clone Wars, once again, they're going to be confused, and I'm wondering that's happening a lot in the series. So I'm kind of wondering how Disney are going to frame series is going on. Like, they've tried to build from new, then again they've done it shit really badly. And bringing old is great. It's fantastic. Definitely building up an old, not just bringing old, building up an old. But you have to make sure that, you know, there is something that people can learn from, and that magic stuff is kind of ambiguous unless you know why that happened. So yeah. But going on from that, then Ahsoka and Baylan, that was a fantastic scene of events. You know, the talk at the start about him knowing Anakin never mentioned him. Maybe Anakin didn't know him too well. Who knows? Maybe he just knew of Anakin. I mean, he said everyone knew of Anakin. I mean, he was claimed as a chosen one. He was super powerful. Everyone knew he was powerful. People were afraid of him. People were afraid how powerful he was getting compared to some of the masters who have been masters for a long time. The masters, the shoot for a long time. He was getting there faster than most other people. Because he was just a chosen one, because he was dedicated. Anakin always wanted to train. He wanted to become the best. He wanted to become better, a better Jedi, a better knight, a better warrior. Which is great. And yeah, the fight scene was amazing. Like, first coming into the fight, them shifting stances of the sword stances, Ahsoka choosing to go for one sword. It's fantastic. It's great. I really like that aspect of the fight, and the fight itself was really good. Obviously, it's not prequels choreography. You know, we would love that, but it's not that. This is fine. I mean, it would be nice to see it, but it's not that. But it was still good. It was better than anything else we've seen in the sequels, which was impressive. Nice strokes, nice Baylan, some powerful strikes. And I've seen some people say here that, you know, Ahsoka like lost, and she did lose, but I think she mainly lost because of her own focusness. Definitely around, I mean, when she touched the item and it burnt her hand, that really did cripple her in the fight. After that, she was kind of on the back burner. She was kind of losing her ground and her strength, which makes sense. Before then, it seemed like she kind of had the upper hand of Baylan. Baylan was strong, but he was a bit stumbling. Definitely when she kicked her down, you know, her agility came into play in some points, and Baylan is more of a stiff, strong, grounded user. This is quite interesting. I'll need to check back on the forums and what the forums names are. It's been a while since I've done that, since, you know, before the sequels, when I really was interested in Star Wars. But I've always been interested still, but just not in Disney. Most of the Disney stuff, mostly the old stuff I was interested in, and some of the games as well. But that's another thing. And yeah, that fight was amazing. It was nice to see. And going from there, seeing Ahsoka fall into the water, Baylan seducing Sabine to join him, and Shin aggression coming out and force choking Sabine. Some fantastic scenes, and I love that Ahsoka just crashed into the wall, and that's when Baylan really started to use his anger to really wail on Ahsoka, which was fantastic. It was some great stuff. Like, I really liked what we saw here. Sorry, it's early in the morning. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I love this episode. I think it's one of the best episodes of the series, and one of the best episodes we've seen since old Star Wars, you know. I mean, I love Clone Wars, and it's probably my peak Star Wars, but this rivals that. Which I'm happy about. I'm so happy about that, you know. That's what I want. I want Star Wars to be good. Like, I hate what Disney did to Star Wars, but ultimately I still want Star Wars to be good because I like Star Wars. I've loved Star Wars, you know. So this episode, I would give it probably like a 9.5, maybe even almost a 10. Like, there's not much I can see wrong in this episode, honestly. I think the pacing was good, the action was good, the commentary was good, the conversations. Maybe sometimes we do need a bit more dialogue, which I'll get into for next episode, which I have watched now. But yeah, I can't really say anything bad about this episode, really. I think it was just great overall. There's some things, of course, you can nitpick if you really want to, but I could pretty much do that with anything. There's always something you can find. Like, it's impossible to tighten up everything, you know. But there definitely is something. I just can't think of it on top of my head right now. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.